I need to clear it myself. It's aggravating me. And if I'm clearing and you're clearing, it's a force multiplier. My clearing and removal of a certain limited belief could impact a child in China who comes up with the next cure for whatever disease or the next Steve Jobs.
Yeah, it's very powerful.
And what I think, just to bring it all back, is what is causing that, right? It's because we are all connected.
Right.
We're literally all connected.
Yeah.
And me and you are not like living in our own little bodies, doing our own thing. And we're energetically connected.
More than we
realize.
Yeah.
So the way I start to think about it now is that, think of like an internet, like if you could see the internet, it's all connecting. It's like all vines everywhere. All right, so in this episode, we're going to pick it back up where we left off and talk a lot more about clearing the energy and what the different modalities can do to help us, and just circle through all the modalities that we can use to clear some of the energy from our bodies.
Yeah, I think starting off, the purpose of cleaning is to just let go of the things that you think you know and the things that memory has instilled into us, society, parents, upbringing, trauma, all those things are piling up in our being, our brain, our body, our heart, our identity. And when we hold on to that, we decay, we get old, we can't learn anything. We can't release anything. So clearing is the concept of just constantly shedding or detaching from those cords.
Yeah.
And a good analogy is if you think of the Matrix and just those cords that Neo had to pull off of when he was in that pod and he finally woke up after taking the red pill. He had to pull those cords off, and then he was released into the real world.
Yeah. And I think too, it's like somebody had to save him, right? So they were out there looking for him, like, what pod is he in? Someone's going to save him. And the idea of this podcast, right, is for us to give you information that will click in your mind and help save you and realize there's different reality than what you've been taught or what you've learned, so that you can learn how to pull those cords off. Because if you're just living in your life, going on with your daily activities, you sometimes don't realize that you are living in the Matrix.
So I think what we're saying here is we all have past life experiences, and then we have judgments about those. And then so now we're living in our present life and we're making up stories in our head. And I think we discussed this before, where I have to stop telling the stories in my head. So replace that with a word if you want to, positive, or the Ho'oponopono phrases, and then get out of that story so that you don't experience that story. You could probably experience something better.
Yeah.
Just everything that we just said can be tightened up or simplified down to judgment. It's like anytime you judge, whether it's good or bad, it is going to cause the opposite to occur. And it doesn't mean like if you're judging bad all the time, it's going to be good in the sense that it's going to cause you to hit rock bottom, to surrender and finally get to the point where it's like, okay, I need to stop judging because it's no longer working for me. And the judgment of good, I like this, I'm preferred, sets you up to get on a wobbly ladder where eventually it will crash down because it's not stable. Because
Right.
your happiness, your peace is dependent upon good. Where paradoxically, if you just view everything as good or everything as love, everything as here to serve you, it's different than judging good in a sense. It's accepting, it's detachment, it's releasing the need to judge or know if something is good or bad for you.
And you were talking about earlier before we started to record about, the smartest people in the room have the hardest time to doing this. So can you tell us a little bit more about your story?
Yeah. So I was talking with my brother, and photographic memory. The guy blazed through school and was one of those gifted individuals who his extremely smart, sees beyond the veil, but at times the brain gets ahead of him and tries to convince him otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we go into this concept of like, I was telling him he's going through a hard time and professionally, and, you know, it's because of the tariffs and it's because of this. And I go, what if we were to look at this and go, maybe it's source, it's you telling yourself to go in a different direction. It's not serving you anymore. Like you're swimming against the current instead of going with the flow here. And I asked him if he ever heard this Zen proverb, which is let go or be dragged. And he never heard it before. I was like, of all people, like, you never heard this? And he's like, no. And I'm like, do you get the concept? And he's like, no, not really. And I'm like, of all people, I would expect him to understand that. And that's when I talk to him and I go, you know, you're sometimes too smart for your own good.
Mm-hmm.
And like, because you need to know something. So to simplify my answer, walking you through all that, what you asked me, smart people who are very knowledgeable end up holding themselves back because the need to know something.
Mm-hmm.
So what got you to where you're at right now in success or wherever you're at in life and proud and all the accolades and all the things that we have isn't going to get you to the next level.
Right.
You got to be actually willing to let go of what you know in order to go to the next level. Again, kind of going back to the Matrix, Neo had to let go.
Yeah.
He had to free his mind. He had to forget, or let go, simply just let go of the things that he thought he knew was real to ultimately get in touch and believe in himself to become the one.
Well, and it's also, I do a lot of leadership coaching and hypnosis and stuff like that. And I see the best leaders are able to let go. So what has gotten them to where they are today has been pushing, proving, analytics, all these things, and then being the best in whatever they've done. Maybe they've built a $10 million business or they're up to an executive level, but they just can't get over that hump anymore. They have a hard time letting go of control. And there's people underneath them that they could be lifting up and mentoring and just not controlling every aspect of what they're doing and letting it just be.
Mm-hmm.
That will push them over to the next level, but you have to let go of the control.
Yeah. Earlier we talked about, I guess, certain people being able to channel, but I think we all are able to channel. If we just open ourselves up to that, like it's every knowledge is within us.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to think it's outside of us. We could just think we have an intention. We want this to go well. What's going to come up inside us? So like if you're a leader, what's going to come up inside me to make this thing work out?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of we can't make it work out. These employees are horrible and they don't come to work and they don't want to work when they're there.
Well, and
It's
ask
don't
yourself
think that.
right. Well, don't think that, and
Right.
also ask yourself, why do they not want to come to work?
Right.
You know, what's going on within you that's bringing that situation? What do you need to deal with? Most likely it's you have to let go of something and trust in the process.
That's like going back to Ho'oponopono, is it's all about taking 100% responsibility and going, okay, your problems are actually my problems.
Right.
And it's for me to clear, not you to clear. But through that nature, like through that process, it does end up accelerating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because then you pay attention to it. You're aware of this as I am. And you're like, you know what? I need to clear it myself. It's aggravating me. And if I'm clearing and you're clearing, it's a force multiplier. And we talked about on one of the podcasts, like sending a cosmic nuclear bomb or a cosmic nuke. When you clear, you detach the cords or the subconscious beliefs that are in you when I clear it within myself. And it's this is the orchestration of this reality that we are in, where it's my clearing and removal of a certain limited belief could impact a child in China who comes up with the next cure for whatever disease or the next Steve Jobs.
Yeah, it's
And
very powerful.
And what I think, just to bring it all back, is what is causing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's because we are all connected.
Right.
We're literally all connected.
Yeah.
And me and you are not like living in our own little bodies, doing our own thing. And we're energetically connected.
more than we
realize.
Yeah.
So the way I start to think about it now is that think of like an internet, like if you could see the internet, it's all connecting. It's like all vines everywhere. And that's how we have to think about it. Like when you're in a grocery store and you're with all those people, you're walking around energetically connected to all those people around you in that store. And then if you think about it at an even higher level, as you let your mind expand, we're connected to the bigger mind, and we can actually get, like you were talking about, get those downloads if we would open up our mind and we have the information all inside of us. There's a good analogy for this. So a lot of people talk about like, why do you think like inventions, two people come up with the same invention at the same exact time? It's because you're getting the download from the bigger consciousness, universe, God, whatever you want to call it. And it's not, nothing is an original thought. So now knowing all of this, it makes me laugh because it's like we want to copyright and like do all these things. Well, none of this is ours, right? So we don't own any of this. It's just letting life be so that we can all become better and better and lift each other up. Okay, I'm done with my TED Talk.
Yeah,
No,
so it's like the speed of what someone does with a thought is what really formulates for people. And yeah, like you said, we're going to copyright and other people have the same thought, but they're not acting with speed.
Right.
So that's what we have to be aware of.
Yeah, I mean, if you get the instinctual pull to do something, like you act on it, you get a result, and then that leads to the next thing that you think about, you feel, and then you act, and then you continue to do that over and over. Where it gets cloudy and where you get hurt or misstep is when you're holding on to something.
Right.
Whether it's, I know it needs to be this way, and we've all been in those situations where I know it needs to go this way, and I force it until it doesn't go the way that I want it to go. And then I got to go, okay, clearly this isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
I got to let go of that knowing to find something else.
Right.
And there's so many of these concepts, these ideas, these theories, or these philosophies, schools of mind, ways of thinking, that I think it all comes down to clearing, where it's just like every school is ultimately just trying to let go, like forgive, let go, and love.
Well, what comes to my mind is when
I know you fight against that.
Another method that we can have of clearing is when we have a judgment about someone, because we all do. We have judgments. How do we reflect that back to ourselves? Why do we have the judgment? Why is it within us? Maybe it's something that we judge within ourselves, right? So we clear that in ourselves. So we don't have to just think we replace the judgment with love, love, love. We can replace it with how do we reflect back to ourselves and how do we clear it in ourselves so that we can decide we don't have a judgment of them. It's about us because we are all connected. And like yesterday, like giving advice to someone, when you say you think you're giving advice to that person, you may actually be giving that advice to yourself.
You are giving it to yourself.
So think about that one. How do you help yourself? Like coaches that are out there that think they don't have a coach to go to, you're giving advice to people for
yourself.
a living. So how do you reflect that back to yourself and say, oh, that was a good idea. I should implement it myself.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we were just talking about too. It's like all the wellness people, right, in the space will tell everybody you need to do this, you need to do that, but then you don't go and do it for yourself or follow your own advice. It's because you're telling yourself that's what you need to do, but you're not doing it, right?
This is the big chaos that goes on in this world of what we're in with health, functional health and biohacking and all this stuff, is like their world is in disarray a lot of times. Like they're coming off as this like in tune, in touch person, but they're chaotic.
What I think is we're all living our life and we're not perfect, right? And we can say we're coached and we can be sitting there and not even knowing this idea until we interact with someone else.
Right.
That's the beauty of we're interacting with each other to learn from each other. So let's just be open and full of love instead of judgment, and that we can't learn anything from someone else or get anything from this interaction because we think we're going to help them when really you're helping yourself by helping them.
Right.
Because maybe no one's going to have that idea until the interaction happens.
Yeah,
right?
that's right. And it goes like a simpler way for me to think about this is that we're brought up in, okay, if I have, let's just say, we'll go back to the invention. If I have an invention that I created, let's say it's free energy, because this one always gets everybody angry and frustrated. Yeah. I come up with a way to create free energy. What's going to happen to me if I start talking about this? And then I'm giving away this idea for free, and then the energy companies are going to get a hold of it, or the government, or whatever. And now I'm starting to think, well, I just put my life, 50 years of my life into this, creating it. I need to patent it. I need to make money off of it, and it's free, but I need to like charge people for it. And then all of a sudden, everything goes downhill because it's not meant to be hoarded. And like you need to give it to people. You need to be interacting with people. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not, it's, you
It's
can't,
the open source.
So we have to get out. Yes, it is the opus. So it's the open source. It's all these things that are coming to fruition now, right? We're in the age, we're on the precipice of having an ability to have a free world, where we can live for free with very little bills, all these things, but we have to unlearn what we've learned. We have to unlearn the competition. What is money? Money is an energy exchange. So instead of money, why don't I exchange my energy for what I do? You exchange for what you do, and then we can live freely.
Because our life is in the matrix, and our life has been monetized, right? And it's all about money, money, money. You got to earn it to pay someone to do something.
But that creates
if we had just grow food from the ground. I mean, we have mud everywhere.
Money is used though to create judgment and to create division.
Yeah.
Because I'm like fighting against you because I don't want you to take my clients because they may bring me some more money. And that is what I feed my kids with.
That's why we don't want a lack mentality. There's more than enough for everyone to go around. Everyone needs service, and not everyone's going to hire the same people. So it's just whoever wants to hire me is going to hire me. And
again, it's unlearning everything, though, that we've learned in school and life from our parents, all the trauma that's been passed down. Yeah. It's realizing that we don't have to be in competition with everybody every day. When we decide to come together and collaborate what the universe wanted us to do, then we'll start to lift each other up. Yeah. But it takes a lot of effort, and it's this clearing effort of getting rid of all of these channels that come into our life. So social media is good and bad. There's negative and positives to it, right? You can go down the rat hole of all the crap that is going on, or you could be listening to some great stuff, expanding your mind, bringing you up. But you need to choose. You need to be in that headspace.
Well, you used to say there's something about the yin and the yang, and we need both. We need good and bad to know, or
you need judgment to you need the opposite in order to understand what it is to love. You need what would be the opposite of love? Fear. Some people say fear, right? I would maybe say even judgment would actually be the opposite of love, where it's like you're pinning some condition on this thing, and if that condition is good, then I love it. But if that's not love,
right?
Like love is just truly detached and appreciative of this very thing or situation or person or whatever it is, because it's all meant to serve you. So it's
learning how to live in balance. I mean, I really believe that there's 12 like codes of the universe, 12 or 13, let's just say 12 or 13 codes of the universe. And one of them is to understand the negative and the positive, which however you want to say it, good or bad, you're always going to have that viewpoint because you can see all different. If you open your mind, you can see all different viewpoints, which is like anything from what somebody would say good or bad to then learning how to become in balance with those two sides. It goes to in balancing your energy field. So how are you going to vibrate? What level are you going to vibrate? What level are your cells going to vibrate on? You want to be in balance.
So the what came to mind when you're talking about this, because we're these concepts, when you get into them, it's like dancing around. It's because it's a concept you can't grasp. I can't explain to you what love feels like.
Mm-hmm.
You can only experience it, right? It's something that words limit its capacity to experience it, right?
Mhm.
So it's the thing that gets you to the door, but then you got to be willing to let go of the concept to walk through that door. And that's where I think people like hit a brick wall,
Mhm.
and they're like, all right, the door's right there, but I'm not experiencing it. So they stop at that point where it's like, okay, you got to be willing to just let go of the concept completely to walk through that door. So what that looks like is just clearing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just simply going, I love you, or it's working out, or it's going through a sound bath or some type of therapy or something that makes you just get into a state where you're not thinking, that you're in this state of flow. That I just read this book by Benjamin Hardy, and he was describing why extreme sport athletes have been studied so much when it comes to flow. And it's because the level of risk that is involved in their sport, where it's like a basketball player is putting himself on the line,
Mm-hmm.
but not to the level at which a downhill mountain biker is,
Right.
or a motocross rider is.
Yeah.
Like they're jumping 100 feet in the air or doing 50-foot gaps. And if they go the wrong direction, they're dead. They
Yeah.
could. And it's that intensity that causes them to get into a state of not thinking,
Mm-hmm.
but just into a pure state of flow, which allows divinity to come through and steer and
Right.
do.
Yeah.
And so you just experience that. And that, whatever you can do to get yourself into that state, that's what clearing is.
And that's the ideal state so that
Yeah.
you can create, be inspired, and create again, and be at peace with everyone around you.
Mm-hmm.
You're truly at peace when you're doing that. Like I used, when I've had many states of flow, but when I was younger, I got a crotch rocket, and it was like, as soon as I broke that thing in, I knew what I wanted to do, and I visualized it. It was going down the highway at night with no cars, full speed.
Oh my God.
And I broke it in, and I took it out with my friend out to Chicago, and we drove it back into the suburbs, and it was late at night, and I full throttled all the way home. And it was 196 miles an hour all the way.
Oh my God.
And I just felt in flow. Like I
Yeah.
felt like I was being pushed, and it was just like this. I'm not saying it's smart. I'm not
no,
condoning it.
right? Because that's
No,
insane.
it's,
But what
it's
I'm
not.
saying-
It's I do see what you're saying. I was, when I was younger, I had a Corvette.
Yeah.
And I really should not have had this car, but I would take it down the highway at night and I would go 150 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like most people would be like, what, she has a death wish, but I was in like this flow state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of like weaving where I needed to go. And I always think like I had a protective angel, which I
Yes.
really did.
Yeah.
I did. I was living out my dream of like being free and having no cords attached to me. Like just, it was my way of bringing me back to what life really needs to be,
Mhm.
of just no fear,
Mhm.
freedom, love. Like you can move quickly and still get to where you need to be without having all these expectations on you.
And
So-
the,
I just had
Go
a
ahead.
thought, because before we started talking, I was thinking, how do people deal with stress and how they handle stress? And it sounds like you two, when you're talking about the speed or even driving anywhere for many hours, it's
Mhm.
like you're handling your stress, like whatever your stress of your life is. I got this 7 hours, or I have this, whatever, 196 speed to just block it all out. Right now, I don't have to even think about all this. I just block it all out. I'm in focus, in flow. And that is so relaxing to some people,
Mhm.
when it will probably be terrifying to others. Right? But if that's the way that your brain relaxes and lets yourself just focus on one thing, I get, like, that's insane. But
well, there's
She's
like,
you gotta
No,
think
no,
of that.
hold on, wait. Note to the listeners, do not do that.
Yeah, but, right. But
Well,
it's like,
so-
think about how do you handle stress and how do you replace that? That can be dangerous, maybe. But I mean, it's not dangerous because he's still here, right?
Yeah.
And so then Scott, he jumps off a cliff. That's dangerous into the water. Fine. But it's like other people think that's dangerous. Don't do it. Don't ever do it. But he does it and he's fine. So it's like, what can you do that works that can make you be okay?
This is the beautiful makeup of each individual, right?
Right.
And like what makes them them. I'll say this, like there is a caveat to what you're saying here where it's like, where does it become unhealthy? And I've had, my own bouts with lust and things of that nature. And there's something associated with ADHD and hypersexuality where it's like what that does for people is it allows them to focus on one thing, right? Because it's so intense. It's so just one particular thing that it gets them to stop thinking, which gives them peace.
Yes.
So that 196 is one of those types of things. It's not the only thing. 196 miles an hour, like that's one like high intense like you're, yeah. Yeah, good distinction there. Good distinction there, yeah. But like that high intensity of whatever it may be forces you to like get into that state. And again, it's not one to judge that this is good or this is bad. Like it's just about awareness. Like when in the second Matrix, the Oracle talks to Neo and she goes, he's like, I'm here to make a choice. And she goes, you already made the choice. You're here to figure out why you made that choice. So that's what we're here for, is to understand why it is. What does it give me? Bring awareness to it. And when you bring awareness to it, that's when you release it. So simply put, like you don't need to know the scientific data and all the terminology that's behind this thing that's causing you to feel this way or hurt yourself or cause trauma or injury or success or gain or progress. It's for you to clear. So just simply going through that process, whatever that clearing process is for you, allows you to just clear your mind and be able to be in the moment, observe, and let divinity come through you to make the right action.
Well, and I think too, from what I hear you saying is more like you have to learn to just, like you said, release everything, which is through clearing mechanisms, whatever you decide works for you, whatever modality works. It could be Ho'oponopono, it could be sound baths, hypnosis, working out, eating really clean, whatever it is. And then letting that love come into balance and loving yourself, because if you can love yourself, then you can give that love to everybody else. And the answers are within the universe. They're not something that you have to like learn or understand, like just tap into it, tap into the knowledge that we were our birthright. Like we were here to tap into that knowledge. It's just getting our bodies to vibrate at that love energy in sync with the vibration of the divine.
Yeah. There's so many pathways to walk down this road or up this mountain to create awareness within yourself and peace within yourself. Your journey is different than my journey versus your journey, but we come together and recognize each other's journey and are able to relate to it or understand it or feel it or experience it through what you're describing, because I've gone through it myself. It's just I think when people are like, what type of question do you think we're trying to answer on this particular podcast? Like what's...
Well, okay. Well, my thought after she said what she said was the answers are in the universe and we are the universe.
Yes.
So they're within us. We're all part of it, but we're the universe, because what we're experiencing out here isn't
creating. Yes.
Right. Because he's experiencing probably something different than I'm experiencing, and you are too. But we're still the universe, and the universe is within us. And so I like the whole thing about awareness. Just be aware, adjust as you go, and try to find peace and calm as you go, and do whatever modality that's out there that will help you. And maybe do all of them, but not all at the same time.
And I think it goes back. So what question are we answering here? It's how do I calm my nervous system down to be in touch with calm, clarity, and love? And to me, and that will then open your mind.
I've felt like this episode, like for myself, was trying to figure something out, and there's really nothing to figure out. And it's like what we're bringing to light here is that we're taught there needs to be an objective. There needs to be something that we get out of this. There needs to be like, what is that thing? And we're sifting through the sand or the sandbox to find that.
Yeah, like that piece of gold or something.
Whatever that is. But the process is the destination.
Yeah.
Right?
There is no destination.
There is no destination. Like the destination is just the process, or how you get what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And it just cycles. So it's like we're cycling and cycling and cycling, and we're looking for like all this information and how to be the best person. Like we're letting our egos drive our day-to-day lives, when in reality, if we would open up our mind, regulate our nervous system, realize that we're all here to work together to do something greater and elevate the way that we live, to open up different portals to different experiences that we cannot have right now in this world.
And I guess it goes back to what's the meaning of life. And if you go back to the Matrix, what do you think the Matrix is trying to tell everyone the meaning of life is?
Know thyself.
And what do you think people in knowing thyself are going to find out about themselves?
If you, like, I was talking with my family last night about, like, we got together for my son's birthday, and, you know, my brother comes in with some work flack, and, you know, so it's starting off with not complaining. Yeah, a little bit like, I love you, bro, but it was a little bit like on the negative route, and he had not acknowledged it. And then we went into Rob Reiner just recently passed away, right? And we're talking about that situation. My mom is, and he's talking about that. And I'm like, so, like, and my mom's spiritual, and she's an intuitive medium. And so it's like, you of all people know that this is, like, he's not gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing wrong here. Like, it's tragic that his son supposedly killed him. And like, they were like, yeah, just like really feeling in tragedy and all this. And I'm like, if you know who you are, like, and remind yourself of that all the time, there is no tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I am you, you are me. This is me. Everything is source. Everything is one. Everything is God. And going back to that, the one, to the Matrix, the one is signifying that he's the one, just as you are the one, just as you are the one, just as I am the one, who has the ability to break free from the constraints of programs and Matrix and all these other things.
I guess what I was thinking when I'm asking this question is that it's really love that we're all searching for and doing things for. So like you and your family getting together for your son's birthday was a very powerful meeting of energy, right? And everyone's hypnotized by the news. So they're focused on stuff instead of enjoying each other's company. Hey, we're love here. We're family getting together to enjoy each other's company, but we're distracted by the news that hypnotize us, like you guys like to say.
Everybody's under hypnosis.
I love that. That's so true. That what you're saying is so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. And if people really listen to that and take that in, it ruins, not really ruins. You still had a great time, I'm sure.
I had to call it out. Because
it's
people were
distracted from the meaning.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? We
like
love
that.
each
That was
other.
my point. I was like, what I was doing in that conversation and calling that out, like, you guys know this is all good. Like, there's nothing bad going on here. Like, it's not a tragedy. You know, he's just in a different plane, acting in a different way, in a different form. And what we deem as bad is not bad.
And it's just an example of how we can be hypnotized or brainwashed by the news to think a certain way about something. Like, he died, and now everyone in the world is going to talk about how sad that is and judge the situation they're being delivered. This is what could have possibly happened, and let's have a discussion about it.
It's important to also note that it goes back to this clearing of the energy field. So when you really understand this, your mind is like disengaged and disjointed. And so your energy is disjointed. So you're watching all this information, you're living in fear, you're talking about tragedies, you're worrying about the next war, you're doing all these worry, fear, anxiety. Okay. And then when you get together with the people that you supposedly are supposed to love, respect, and be close to energetically, you're vibrating at like worry, fear, anxiety. And then all of a sudden you're like, you didn't clean the kitchen. You didn't even say thank you for the blah, blah, blah that we had. And instead, like, why we're here to be in the present. And what's the present? It's giving us a present. It's giving us a gift. And to be with people is a gift of love. And all this distraction that's going on is a play on our energy vibrations that gets us disjointed, does not allow us to be centered. And then that radiates to the rest of the people around us, which is what the problem is. So we need to come back together. Like we need to come back together and enjoy the birthday boy in the present, love each other, and talk about, I don't care if it's about gardening and putting your damn hands.
What do you need help with, Mom?
No, hold on. This is. I just realized something though here.
What can we have a conversation about?
The reason why these things happen is because it's something that within myself I needed to clear.
Mm-hmm. And what is it that you think you need?
I don't know. Like that's the whole thing. Like we got to go back to, like, you all are witnessing in real time the faultiness that we all have within us. Like we're not freaking,
perfect.
We're perfect. I mean, it's like
we
are,
imperfect.
but perfectly imperfect, however you want to describe it. But like what I'm saying is, like, I could look back on the reflection and say that was bad, that was good, or whatever. Yeah. What I'm just realizing right now is that it's like I don't want to say. I don't think it was disturbing my peace in a sense. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. It was just like form correction. Like, hey, we're talking a lot about this, and this. What about the other side of things? And that's what I was bringing it up in a sense. But when I say that to family members, sometimes it comes off as like I'm a dick. Mm-hmm. Like I'm just like not agreeing to not agree or whatever, however they want to receive it as.
Maybe that's just your perception.
It is. It's like we moved on and it was carrying on. It wasn't like a big abruption. It wasn't a big deal.
It didn't cause like a family.
No, like we weren't like, all right, dinner's over and it's bad, right? Like they cracked up at how weird I was. Like it was just like. It was like, here goes Dad down the rabbit hole of nothing's wrong and all is good and all this stuff. And I just acknowledged that.
But did you ever think that instead of that something within you that needs to change at that very moment, maybe you were just channeling love?
I think that's so, like, as I'm looking, and they're going to say it came from, it'd be interesting to get like a play-by-play from my brother and my mom, right? And my son. What I equate it to is like when, like when you're on a health journey and you're doing something different than what other people are doing, whether it's bringing your own food to a party or not drinking when everybody else is drinking, and they're putting the peer pressure on you to say, come on, just this once, or, why do you got to be so different? Or here he goes again, he's bringing his own food. And it's like, we were at an event recently, the charity event, and there was cookies around there. And I'm like, I really have, no temptation for the cookies. And I don't judge you guys if you have them or not. Right. But one of the guys made a comment. He's like, oh yeah, and joking around, but he was like, oh yeah, you're jacked and big and you're not judging because my physique is judging them. Right. So,
that's funny.
Right. So it's like this stature, this presence,
you don't even have to
this
say
presence,
a word.
Like I'm just showing something that they're not doing. And that's why it disrupts people.
And interestingly, you were most likely, if I analyze the situation from my perspective, is you were just doing what's right for you.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you were there though, because that guy who said that to you he needs to fix what's inside himself. So he wants the cookie really bad, and he's, trying whatever.
But I want that too.
Yeah. And so then he's going to put you down because he feels bad about himself.
Yeah.
And so there's all these things in life that life gives us to test us like this, right?
Always. Yeah.
And so it's like we're all here to help. This is a very good example of how we're all here to help each other. And so like, okay, now Ho'oponopono would come in really good with this guy because it's like, hey, thank you. I love you. Like, I'm here to help you. You're here to help me. Like clearing that out, that comment, I'm not going to hold on to that anymore. And it's where it's like what we've been talking about. It's like, how do you have those energy exchanges? And yeah, they're not all going to be beautiful and loving. And there's going to be a lot of issues that come up, but how do you quickly get yourself back to a place of calm clarity?
So something that we talked about earlier, and I know you and I talked about it before, is the concept of forgiveness. And like you like saying the thank you and I love you, but not the other half, because it's like it's just something around there is like it just doesn't vibe with you.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that. What I like about forgiveness is the definition of seeing the ideal in others. It's not forgiveness like something bad happened and I need to forgive this person. It's like just constantly readjusting and seeing through the eyes of God the ideal in the person and the situation, this is the hardest freaking work. Like this is so...
It is.
It's like until it's not, right? So we have to surrender to it being easy.
But forgiveness can also, and I just don't love the I'm sorry, because I don't think you should be walking around saying I'm sorrow, because we should be in a different state of love.
Maybe you can get to love if you say that first.
Maybe, yes. And so the big thing I like about forgiveness and the way that I teach my clients is, when you forgive somebody, you are giving them back what you've been hanging on of. You're letting go of what you've been holding on from them, and you're forgiving them. If you're really forgiving them, because you're now giving back to the universe whatever you've been letting in your energy field for so long holds you back. And so that's why I think forgiveness is really, really important.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at that. Because
I got 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay.
How to let go of things, and that's the best way.
Yeah.
So, like I find myself with like clearing and Ho'oponopono, and like just that constant process is a practice of awareness. Like ultimately, where I'm connecting with my future self and my vision and my dream. And there's like visit the future, but stay in the present. Like look in the rear view mirror is essentially kind of the same thing of looking in the future, but being in the present. So allow it to influence you. And the clearing is just like this. It takes more than myself to be clearing, right? Like that's why we're talking about it. And we remind each other to continuously keep it alive, because if you're the only one doing it all the time, you're on an island by yourself.
Exactly. And I think a good thing to like bring back to is like your family, right? Yeah. So you gave us a good story to kind of get behind it as an example. They were talking about a tragedy, right? That happened in the news. They don't know this guy. Like there's no like connection. And you were able to help them kind of like maybe they thought like, what the hell, there he goes again. But honestly, really what it was, oh yeah, we know this. We've, as a family, we know.
I'm trying to remind you who you are.
Yes. Yeah. And so you're just basically saying, hey, enough of this sadness, tragedy talk. Like we all know what's real here. Bring it back to reality and clear your energy field. We're not afraid. No one needs to be afraid of dying. Like the one thing in life is that we have two for sure things. We are born, we take our first breath, and we die and we take our last breath. That is the only for sure thing that's happening in this journey. And so we don't need to be afraid of giving birth, and we don't need to be afraid of dying, because it's the circle of life.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I think that's interesting. So, because now you can look at that situation and think, what is it in me that I need to reflect on, clear, right? Because what is it? We still don't even know.
That's
I mean,
it.
we
It's
have
like
our own perceptions of whatever, but it's his thing.
Right.
The whole, like, the whole thing with Ho'oponopono that they really focus on, it's focused on clearing, and it's focusing on not knowing. Like the 15 million bits of information per second that we have
Yeah.
versus the 15 bits of information we're actually aware of
Yeah.
is like just proof that be humble.
Yeah,
Like,
and then
I
bring it-
don't know. I
and
don't
then
know.
when
I
you
don't
do-
know.
It doesn't have to matter, right?
Yeah.
You can still be light and not care that this situation happened. It's who cares?
And
Yeah.
It's happened.
And when you let go, and I can speak from experience with this, I've always tried to control every aspect of my life. And it's like, okay, we have to have this timeline. I'm like the crazy, like type A,
You were a control
freaking.
freak at
I
one time.
was at one point, but I had to learn how to let go, because when you let go, it opens your awareness to other perceptions and other realities, and those realities start to come in. It's scary. Till this day, I will always, this journey on my life, I will always have to work on this and be reminded. And I need people in my life to be like, what are you doing? Like, get back in
the
it.
lesson and the practice that he just experienced. Because look at him, he looks light. After that experience, it's like nothing, no care in the world. He's like in a happy mood or something.
When, like, some people would be like thinking it over and over in their head. It's like, it's learning what you're saying to let go, realign your energy fields, and just be open to receiving whatever the next thing is in the present moment that's going to come into you. So, I think that does it for today. So, all right, guys, thanks for listening. Tune into the next Remember You. We love you.